How can you find meaning when depression makes life feel meaningless? When you've lost your passion for things you used to love, when you don't have the drive to get out of bed in the morning or even to try at life, when it all feels dark and hopeless, when you don't even like yourself, how do you find purpose, confidence, and energy to try again? I'm licensed therapist Jonathan Decker, and I know how it feels to hate yourself, to struggle to carry on, to wonder, what's the point anymore? I'd like to tell you what's helped me to find my meaning, to find my why. There are always at least two ways to see things. For example, a person with debilitating illness may decide that God is punishing them, or they may decide that God is teaching them to appreciate life and to have compassion for others. A person in poverty may choose to see their circumstance as the result of bad luck and/or a broken system, or they can choose to see it as an opportunity to overcome and triumph. A person with a string of broken relationships may decide that all the good ones are already taken, or they can examine why they keep settling for less and how they are blinded to the true character of deceivers, leading them to change their outlook and dating practices. If the meaning and purposes you see for your life, struggles, and experiences aren't helpful to you and don't empower you, change them. Change the reason, change the purpose, change the meaning in your mind. Turn it into something that gives you power, strength, and the ability to make a difference, even if that difference is only within yourself. So, how do we create our own meaning and combat depressive symptoms? It boils down to three things. Number one, having a backup plan for when positive thinking doesn't work. Number two, using guilt for growth instead of self-loathing. Number three, finding joy in lifting others. Let's start with having a backup plan for when positive thinking doesn't work. I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, and doggone it, people like me. This satirical self-affirmation, made famous by Saturday Night Live character Stuart Smalley, highlights the type of thinking advised by many therapists, researchers, life coaches, and others. While there is much research to support the power of positive thinking, sometimes it just doesn't work. Even when actively trying to focus on the good and count your blessings, you may still get caught in self-defeating cycles of thinking and behavior. You can still fail to make improvements. In my estimation, positive thinking is necessary, but it's not sufficient. So what's the backup plan when optimism fails? Be realistic about your strengths and weaknesses. All of us are a combination of talents and flaws. People who see only their strengths tend to exaggerate them, leading to arrogance and a lack of self-correction. On the other hand, persons who consider only their flaws have a self-perception that is equally unrealistic and distorted, leading to hopelessness and, again, lack of self-correction. In our worst moments, we tend to magnify some aspects about ourselves while minimizing others. When you look at yourself and see mostly flaws, ask yourself if shame is causing you to exaggerate. If necessary, ask a trusted friend who will be honest with you. Strip away whatever is magnified and distorted by emotion to work with the truth of the matter. Be humble and willing to change. Label your behavior, not yourself. Instead of, I'm a liar, redirect your thoughts to, I should have been honest. I'm better than that and I need to make this right. Instead of, I'm a terrible parent, redirect your thoughts to, I had a bad moment. I need to apologize, express love, and make this right. In this way, you don't engage in self-defeating thinking. After all, if you see yourself as a failure at your core, you're going to stop trying to improve because you won't believe you can change. However, if you see yourself as a good person who needs to correct a behavior, you're far more likely to do so. Practice a skill I call yes, but. I knew a woman who, when confronted with a weakness, would counter with, yes, but I'm good at other things. I loved that. She acknowledged her mistakes and the things she did not excel at, but didn't allow this to drag her down. She focused on the positive, on her strengths, without negating the areas she could improve upon. Many of my clients have found it helpful, after seeing the kernel of truth in their negative perceptions and stripping away the excess, to practice the mental exercise of thinking, yes, but, and finding a positive. This looks something like this. I'm not in as good of shape as I want to be. Yes, but I can start today to eat better and exercise more. I lost my temper and yelled at my children. Yes, but I also apologized, held them close, and told them that it wasn't their fault. I took accountability and showed affection. I feel so rejected after this breakup. Yes, but I've got loving family and friends who will help me through it. I feel sad about growing old. Yes, but at least I have the opportunity to do so. Many people find that yes, but helps them to think positively while also being realistic. To them, many positive thinking exercises seem like hokum. Accustomed to negative thinking, their brains reject optimism like the body rejects an incompatible organ transplant. The yes, but exercise allows them to redirect their thoughts while also being honest with themselves. Set specific long-term goals, then make attainable short-term goals to get there. Focusing on the good will fuel your progress, but in and of itself will not change the situation. Combine your positive thinking with goals of what you want to accomplish and set smaller goals to help you get there. These smaller goals should take you an hour or less to complete. The accomplishment of achieving these mini goals will facilitate positive thinking, give you the confidence that only actual progress can provide. After creating a backup plan for when positive thinking doesn't work, the second way to combat depression in order to create meaning is to use guilt for growth instead of self-loathing. In my observation, there are two schools of thought about guilt. The first is that it's a healthy emotion that inspires us to change our behavior, while the second argues that guilt contributes to feelings of worthlessness and hopelessness that impede our growth. So is guilt healthy or is it harmful? The truth is, it can be either. Like fire, guilt can be beneficial or destructive depending on its use. Unhealthy guilt can be a major contributor to depression, which can hold you back from creating purpose in your life. Here's what to ask yourself to determine whether your guilt is healthy or harmful. First, is your guilt directed at your behavior or at yourself? Healthy guilt is directed at a behavior. It leads you to think, I'm better than this. I need to do all that I can to make this right and behave differently in the future. You feel bad, not because you're a bad person, but because you've acted badly. This type of guilt motivates self-improvement, confidence, and accountability. You refuse to be defined by your worst moments, but are humbled by them and learn from them. Unhealthy guilt, on the other hand, is directed at your identity as an individual. It leads you to think, I'm worthless. I'll always be a jerk. I'm a screw-up and a loser. Why even try? This guilt contributes to despair and self-loathing. It perpetuates bad behavior because you cease to believe that you can change for the better. In this case, you internalize the guilt and allow bad behavior to define you. Healthy guilt, while a tough pill to swallow, is bittersweet because it's bolstered by hope that you can make things better and or be better. It's hopeful. Unhealthy guilt is hopeless and makes you want to give up. Redirecting your guilt into something productive and proactive can help you to combat depression and find meaning in your life. The second thing to ask yourself is, do you feel guilty about choices or circumstances? Sometimes people feel guilty about things beyond their control. For example, a person with a crippling illness may feel guilty that loved ones have to take care of them. Other examples include survivor's guilt and feeling guilty about success while others struggle. This kind of guilt helps no one. The only healthy guilt is over things we've chosen to do or say. It is purposeful because it helps us to make amends and better choices. If you're feeling guilty because unforeseeable hardships cause you to lean on others, choose instead to be thankful for their help and empowered to improve your situation or your attitude. If you're feeling guilty because your situation is good while others suffer, choose to feel empathy for them and a desire to help them. If you're feeling guilty because you survived something that others didn't, choose instead to feel gratitude and to make the most of the gift of your life. In short, choose to use guilt to enrich your life, motivate change, and make you better, not drag you down and deplete your self-worth. Let go of those things that you can't control and have no need to feel guilty for. Commit to making positive changes and get help and support to do so. This will help you to escape the trap of harmful guilt that can feed into depression. After creating a backup plan for when optimism fails and choosing healthy guilt over unhealthy guilt, the final step in finding meaning when depression makes life feel meaningless is to create joy out of helping others. One night, while stargazing in Utah, I noticed an especially bright star in my right periphery. Stunned by its brilliance, I shifted my gaze to admire it directly. It disappeared. Black space existed where the star had been. Thinking that I was mistaken, I looked elsewhere, only to have it appear again, shining brightly once more in my peripheral vision. Time and again, when I looked right at it, the star vanished. When I focused instead on the surrounding stars, it reappeared. It turns out that the disappearing star phenomenon is well known in the scientific community. It has to do with how your eyes adjust to light. The experience got me thinking about humanity's universal search for happiness. I saw a clear parallel. The more we focus on our own happiness, the more it eludes us. Much as the star proved evasive when I tried to find it. However, when we shift our focus to the needs of others, we find brilliant joy, much as looking to the surrounding stars unveiled the beautiful luminescence of the disappearing one. Now, Gandhi understood this principle. He taught that the best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. Of course, helping others, like any virtue, can be carried to harmful extremes. I'm not suggesting that you enable others to become dependent, nor am I promoting being a doormat, or worst of all, taking personal responsibility for another person's happiness, a choice which is largely theirs. What I am saying is that looking for ways to help others, to lighten their burdens, to ensure that they feel loved and not alone, is the best way to give your life meaning and fulfillment. It will help you to escape the self-centered living that ultimately proves hollow, to build meaningful relationships, and to establish self-confidence. Einstein understood this. His wisdom extended beyond science when he stated, "Only a life lived in the service of others is worth living." Focus on the stars around you, and yours will shine all the brighter. Try to help others feel happy, or at least stand by them when they're sad, and you'll find your own happiness, or at least power against your sadness. If you focus only on yourself, joy will elude you. So, to recap, when it comes to finding meaning, when depression makes life feel meaningless, remember that you can challenge your brain's interpretation of what's happening to you. You can create a meaning that's empowering. Having a backup plan when optimism fails, ridding yourself of unhealthy guilt, and lifting others will help you in creating this meaning and finding your purpose, which can alleviate depressive symptoms. Now, I want to hear from you down below in the comments. What has helped you to cope with depression? How do you create meaning? Or if you have questions for us about managing your symptoms or finding purpose, let us know in the comments below and we'll address them. If you enjoy what we're doing here, please hit the subscribe button and the bell so that you get our new videos. Here at Mended Light, we're invested in helping you heal yourself so that your light can shine to the world, so that you can be the happiest, best version of you. I'm Jonathan Decker, licensed therapist, and I'll see you next time.